Good morning, Foursquare family. So I got my convention packet and opened it up and saw this face in there, and next to my face it said, Community Transformer. And I stared at that, and I thought to myself, really? How did that happen? And I pondered that for a while, and the answer was profoundly simple. It was called love. Raw, messy love. The kind that costs. 3 months ago, I was given a word from Jesus for the Foursquare Church. And I'm about to give you that word. Given the events centered around the teachings at this convention, and given the tension in our nation, I cannot imagine a more pivotal setup to this word from Jesus. Foursquare's future fruitfulness pivots on our understanding this word I'm about to share with you. The word from Jesus to the Foursquare Church. The Foursquare Church, sent by Jesus to the least of these. Assuredly, I, Jesus, say to you, inasmuch as you did it to one of the least of these, my brethren, you did it to me. Who are Jesus' brothers to me? They are gay, they are lesbian, they are transgendered, they are the gender confused, they are uber left-wing Democrats, they are the uber right-wing Republicans, they are the chronically poor, they are the lawbreakers in prison, they are the sick who will need both my time and my money. And how I treat the least of these is how I treat Jesus himself. It is imperative that I know who my least of these are and that I love them. Isn't that the word we've been hearing the whole convention? Now, at this point, I must define love. Love simply means to be fond of and to welcome dearly at my table. So the question becomes, who are the least of these to me? Who will I welcome or not welcome at my table? So hear my own confession first. The answer I'm about to give you is transparent and truthful. The least of these to me are those from whom I often think they should know better than to put themselves in that situation, I say of them. And I disassociate from them for what they did to themselves. Who are the least of these to me? According to Jesus, they are Jesus to me. Who are the least of these to me? They are the people who cause me to feel uncomfortable. Who are the least of these to me? They are those whom I often disassociate myself from because they don't vote like me. They don't believe like me. They don't have morals like me. Who are the least of these to me? Jesus calls them his brothers. So who are the least, who are Jesus's brothers to Foursquare? I said it before, I'll say it again. Jesus's brothers to the Foursquare family, they are gay, they are lesbian, they are transgendered, they are the gender confused, they are the ultra left-wing Democrats, they are the uber right-wing Republicans, they're the chronically poor, they're the lawbreakers in prison, they are the sick that need both our time and our money. Generously, we will offer our opinion about the least of these. However, rarely will we be generous with our time and actually take the time to learn their stories and then show them unconditional, true, unconditional love, to be truly fond of them. Their stories are hard to hear, and so we distance ourselves. Who are the least of these to Foursquare? They are the people to whom, if we offered them acceptance, that acceptance would lead to the rumor of approval of all that they do. So that assumed approval causes us to have fear of judgment. What will others say or think? So we disassociate. The question is, will we give love and will we be fond of our least assigned to us by Jesus himself? Will we welcome our least to the table with Jesus for a meal with us? So what is at risk? Because with every word from Jesus, there's two sides. What's at risk? In Matthew 25, Jesus says exactly what's at risk in this parable. Assuredly, I say to you, inasmuch as you did not do it, welcome fondly and be loving to your least, as you did not do it to one of the least of these, you did not do it to me. And he says, and these will go away into everlasting punishment. Sorry, those are Jesus' words. According to the words of Jesus, there is a lot at risk here. Somehow, our love must rise above believism. We must do more than tip our hat to the idea of love. In Jesus' very first teaching, on the day he picked his 12 disciples, after praying all night, he teaches his 12 the very first time. I think we ought pay note to what did he say that day. And on that day, he gave what we call the Beatitudes. I call them the rhythm of how his followers will live. And in that teaching, he says to his followers, but you, who? You who follow me, you Foursquare family, you love, you be fond, you welcome to your table, you love, you do good, and your reward will be great, and then you will be sons of the Most High, he said. For he, God, I'm quoting Jesus, for he, referencing the Father, is kind to the unthankful and evil. Now, the descriptive noun in his sermon is the evil and unthankful. And then in the same sermon, he says, therefore, give. And the descriptive noun is the evil and unthankful. Give to the evil and unthankful, it will be given to you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over and poured into your bosom. For with the same measure you use toward the evil and unthankful, that measure is coming back to you. Straight from Jesus' words. That's the descriptive noun. That's the subject of this talk. It's not the offering. So woe to me, and to anyone who shakes their head in approval that we should love, but never gets around to putting skin in the game. That costly love. If our love is not messy, if our love is not costly, then it may be that we simply like the idea of love. Now, Jesus said of a parable in Luke, if you don't understand this parable, how can you understand any of my parables? That would mean this parable is pretty, come on, it's up there. And in that parable of the sower, he then explains this to his disciples. We pick it up in Matthew 25, and he said of that parable that a sower went out and sowed the word of the kingdom. The word of the kingdom, not the words of the kingdom, the word of the kingdom. What is the word of the kingdom? The word became flesh. Matter of fact, if I do this one thing, I fulfill how much of the law? How much? All of it. What is the word of the kingdom? God's kingdom is a kingdom of, come on. You can do better than that. It's a kingdom of love. So Jesus said, a sower went out to sow the word of the kingdom. Listen to what he says in Matthew 13. When anyone hears the word love, the love of the kingdom, and does not understand it, then the wicked one comes and snatches away what was sown in the heart. And this is Foursquare's great dilemma. Love being snatched from our hearts for a lack of understanding of what love is, the height, the breadth, the depth, the power thereof that makes room at Jesus' table. This is why we see the upcoming generation heading for the door of our churches. It's for our lack of understanding that makes room for their friends at Jesus' table. This morally free-falling, tattered, and pierced generation that, by the way, is looking for love. You see, when there's no room for their friends at our table because we're offended by their lives, then there's no room for our up-and-coming generation, and they go out the door with their friends and with Jesus. Understanding love is the key to what we say we want. We say we want revival. We say we want renewal. But hear the words of Jesus one more time. For the thing we say we want, revival and renewal, back to his parable. But he who received the seed of the word of the kingdom, love, on good ground, is he who hears the word, love, and then does something with that love he heard. He understands it, Jesus said. He understands it. Who indeed then does something amazing. They bear fruit. Some 100, some 60, some 30. Isn't that interesting that a seed bears more of its self? More love. God sowed love into our hearts that we would produce more love, and it all hinges on that. You know, Jesus said, how many think we're in the end times? Pastor Jerry did a great job of showing that, framing out we're in the end times. One of the things that Jesus said of the end times, that in those days the love of many would grow. The what of many? The love of many would grow cold. And we often like to go, yeah, those people out there, their love's grown cold. I believe the Lord is speaking to his church that we're off message, that we're arguing about morality, and we don't understand the power and the beauty of redemptive love that says, come as you are to Jesus. The woman caught in adultery, the knowledge of what she wanted to do, wanted to stone her. But love set her free and said, get up and try again. That's the message of the gospel of the kingdom of Jesus Christ. And the Bible makes it clear, though I have all mysteries, though I have all knowledge, though I have all faith, if I could move mountains, but if I have not love, I am nothing. And Jesus' church is something, because his church are followers that look like love. Jesus ain't nothing. Jesus is something. He's love. So let me say this as I end. History's rhyming. Did you know our history is rhyming? It's the 1960s all over again. You think about the rhyming of our current events, civil unrest, moral freefall, a generation lost and plunging. But God, who so loved, gave. He wouldn't lose that 60s generation, that tie-dyed, long-haired, sandal, barefoot-cladded generation that offended many. In the church, some marginalized and offended, no room at their table. I am telling you by the word of the Lord, hear the Lord, I will not lose this generation, and I will get them with or without the Foursquare Church. I'd rather do it with you. But you must understand love and the beauty and the power thereof. Do you understand? We need revival, but we need a revival of our understanding of love. That's what the Foursquare Church needs. God will not lose this generation. He won't. It's love. Raw, messy, costly, scandalous, beautiful love. So what is the word of the Foursquare Church? By this all men will know you're my disciples if you have one for another. And since when did that become the people who vote like you, think like you, and have your morals? You'll have love for all the sons and daughters of Adam and Eve. I don't care who they are. You love them. You be fond of them. You welcome them to my table, or I will remove you from my table. That's the word of the Lord to his church. The word of the Lord to the Foursquare church is, you want to be a community transformer? Repent of your lack of understanding of love. And may we be rooted and grounded in love. And may we, together with all the saints, comprehend the height, the depth, and the breadth thereof of love. I'd like to invite Tammy Donahue up here to be with me. And every word from Jesus must be judged. She is our general superintendent, and I submit this word to the Foursquare church as a word from Jesus. I submit it and lay it at the feet of my elders and brothers and friends, and at the feet of Tammy Donahue. And the Lord would have us tear our hearts and repent with godly sorrow for our lack of discerning the understanding of love. Thank you.
Church, I want us to respond. Please don't applaud. I know, John. I'm going to ask us to respond like I did yesterday.